you ever asked yourself what electricity is? Electricity is the thing that all these computers and phones and everything run on. So, what is electricity? You may never even studied it or even looked at it in high school or grammar school. So here's a typical definition of electricity: a form of energy resulting from the existence of charged particles, such as electrons or protons, either statically or as an accumulation of charge or dynamically as a current. Now, we all know that it powers our devices, and we have some feeling for what it is, something called the flow of electrons. But where does it come from? Let's take a look. Sometimes people guess it comes from fire or some kind of heat, but that doesn't really tell you much, right? Because it's like you take some bacon out of the refrigerator, put it in a pan, and turn on the fire on the stove, and you have cooked bacon. So what do they mean when it says it comes from fire? And then what's this nuclear power and renewable sources stuff going on about? So if you look at it, you can find out it kind of comes from a mysterious way when you use heat. When you use heat, it actually comes from moving a magnet around wires. I mean, it's sort of a strange thing. So let's see if we can find that in terms of a dam. Let's see what it says. So how it works. So here's a YouTube that shows you about hydroelectricity. And what you'll see is moving water. Okay, here you're seeing the Canadian Niagara Falls. You can see it's like giant amounts of water. I'm not sure if it's recording what this guy is saying, but you can see it's incredible. So this is a turbine, and here's what the dams look like. So here you see these giant dams. I mean, they're unbelievably huge, right? These are trees over here. So here's where the water falls down. So here's what it looks like inside the dam. Here's the water. It's forced through this tube. And in here, there's a huge magnet, okay, with wires wrapped around it. And the magnet being forced to twirl around. So the water hits this turbine and makes this magnet roll around. And this is wrapped copper wire, and it actually makes electricity when you whirl a magnet around inside wires like this. So here's where the magnets are, and here's this wrapped copper wire. And because the magnets are whirling, the north and south poles are swapping back and forth, north and south, and that stimulates the flow of electrons, and that's where electricity comes from in a hydro dam. And then, as you can see, the transformers collect the electricity, and then they go over the wires out to the world. This is one way electricity is made. As you can see, no smoke, no pollution, just some bad side effects like fish get trapped in here. So they usually have things around the dams where water flows naturally, and fish can go up, like the salmon do, or they can come down when you're going out to the ocean. So there's other ways electricity is made. It's also made via solar panels, and in that case, the light from the sun stimulates the electrons to flow. In your body, electricity is made yet another way. So electricity comes from a number of ways. But when they say it comes from fire, it doesn't directly come from fire. The fire has to do something like force a magnet to turn, or do something that actually makes electricity, the flow of electrons. So that's a short introduction to electricity.